of sweat. I hadn't been sleeping very well, thanks to the heat, and was extra tired. So, taking a nap felt like the smart thing to do, even though it might have not been. We walked outside onto the patio where he once again grabbed a few extra seat cushions and went over to the tree where we last had our siesta. Because of the heat, he was wearing his worn-in jeans, Keds, and a fitted black t-shirt with faded vintage designs, pretty much his uniform for the last few days. I wasn't complaining. I loved Mateo in his slick business suits, but I also loved Mateo in his dressed-down, rough style. I had a feeling that deep down, that was the style closer to him. I loved Mateo in everything. Except I wasn't in love with him. Of course.
"Ready for another siesta?"
he asked as he got down on the ground, propping one of the cushions up under his head. I looked around me to see if anyone was watching. There were a few people at the tables. Polly and Eduardo, Sarah, Manuel, and Nerea. The slut-shamer and the brony were nowhere to be seen.
"You going to join me?"
I stared down at him, at his long body lying beneath me. What I really wanted to do was straddle him and put my hands down those jeans. But I shoved those lewd thoughts in a box somewhere. I got down to the ground and made myself comfortable. We were lying closer to each other than we had been the first time. I felt like if I moved my arm even the slightest little bit, my hand would brush against his. I couldn't help but wonder if that was a coincidence or not.
"Are you going to the party tonight?"
he asked casually. Why wouldn't I? Tonight was the weekly party, and this time we were supposed to get a flamenco dancing show, put on by Sarah and Nerea, with Manuel playing classical guitar.
"You seem tired,"
he explained.
"But so am I. It usually doesn't get this hot until August."
"I bet you wish you lived on the coast," I said. In Vancouver, it rarely got hot, or cold, because we were by the ocean.
"Yes,"
he said.
"But I have an apartment in Barcelona, so I try to go on the weekends."
Wow, now that would be cool. I bet it was a beautiful place, too. My mind immediately began to envision a butter-colored, Dali-esque exterior overlooking a wide expanse of golden beach. Mateo was there, standing by a balcony, the transparent curtains blowing past him. In my mind, he was wearing only boxer briefs, with a plush robe half hanging off of him, the ocean breeze moving his hair.
"You should come see it one day,"
he said, still a casual tone to his voice. It entered my dream, and suddenly I was in the picture too. I let out an uneasy laugh, and the image vanished. Yeah, I wish. Silence hummed between us. I could feel that Mateo wanted to say something more, but I didn't want him to say it. "So," I said, sliding over it, "in the last however many days, you've asked me who my favorite Spaniard is, my first pet as a child, my favorite childhood memory, what my thoughts are on global warming, and why Justin Bieber exists." He raised his hand in the air and started ticking off his fingers.
"And you've told me it was me, naturally, a hamster named Chub Chub, a sailing trip on your parents' friend's boat when you were 9. You think the planet is angry and we are all fucked, and that Justin Bieber exists because he is the Antichrist, and no one would ever suspect the Antichrist came from Canada. Correct?"
"Sounds right. So what is today's question?" He mused. He put his hand back down beside him, and his pinky finger lay directly across my pinky finger. I held my breath, afraid to move. The sensation of his skin on mine felt heavier than lead. It was all I could think about. His finger on mine. Was he going to move it? Should I move mine? Were we going to just lie there, touching like that? Oh my God, I was going insane.
"Vera?"
he asked. I swallowed. "Yes?"
"What are you thinking about?"
You. Always you," I screamed inside. "Sorry," I quickly said. "I was thinking about Justin Bieber."
"Is that so?"
"What were you saying?" I prodded, hoping he wouldn't pry.
"I was saying I was hoping to ask you tonight."
"Why tonight?"
"Because you would be drunk."
My heart thudded in my chest.